Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paragliding Banter. Today's guest is a special one. He's a celebrity. He is a Bollywood celebrity, but more than that, he's a rock and roller. He's a rock star. He's the lead vocalist of Pentagram, one of the bands I grew up listening to. But apart from all this, that he has achieved so much in life, he is a down-to-earth person and a great friend and extremely fun to be with. I'm talking about Vishal Dadlani. Everybody...
And the crowd goes mild.
So here we are in his car. We are driving back from an epic flying day. The two of us got a thermal and we landed out somewhere. It was supposed to be a good day, but it's not as good as we expected, but we did well and we had a good flight. So here we are back, going back home, which we don't like, back from our flying side. So Vishal, welcome to Paragliding Banter.
Man, it's so good to be here. So good you're doing this. Really, really good. Really, I mean, it's, first of all, informal sources of knowledge are hard to find. And when things are explained simply from a pilot's point of view rather than from a book's point of view, it really, really helps. So,
Awesome. So, Vishal, before we start today's topic, the reason you're on this particular chat is a very special reason, and it's going to open up a different Pandora's box in terms of knowledge for a lot of people. Before we start, would you please tell us how long you've been flying, what wing have you been flying, and how did you get into paragliding, and what was your view about paragliding before you got into it?
So I've been flying for 4 years, technically speaking, but I feel like so I was coming in around Christmas and flying over the New Year as like a celebratory thing at the end of the year, and feeling very happy about myself. I got into it because I happened to see people flying at Pauna, and my curiosity was really, and I was like, I got to check this out. And fate put me in touch with Viz Thasp, who everybody on the scene knows, and
Who is just driving in front of us?
Who's driving in front of us right now? Basically, what happened is he got his nose broken because because some dude threw some kachra on the road, and our friend went and picked it up and put it back in his car. Right? So the guy clocked him, and then I heard about that, and then I on social media I was like, that is wrong, and what he did was right, and so on. So we got to know each other, and I found out that he flies, and I said, can you hook me up? And he gave me Anita's number from Temple Pilots, and then it took me 2 years between that and actually making the call and saying I'd like to come and I'd like to come and learn, and once I flew, it was day 3 of my flying life, and I did that solo flight from Shindewadi, which is 170 feet, and it changed my whole perspective on everything. On everything in my life, it really did change my perspective. So it was epic, and I wanted to keep doing it. But of course, I mean, for whatever it's worth, time is limited. So therefore, I was, allocating 10 days a year for this, like that, and it didn't make any sense. And I went to Bali with Temple Pilots in 2019.
Oh, just before the lockdown?
No. Lockdown.
1 year before.
The
season
19
before.
Or 18, I'm not sure.
Probably 18.
But whichever it was.
Yeah.
I flew there, and I didn't do anything particularly in terms of tasks or anything, but just long flights and being in the air for prolonged periods of time, doing supervised top landings, dolphins, etc.
Right.
Stuff like that. But I really felt it, that first of all, Bali is the place that kind of gives you limitless confidence, because it's really smooth and really it's really friendly.
Laminar.
And so then I was like, I wanna do more of this, and I didn't know how. Then we went into lockdown. This lockdown has been life changing. No, seriously. So until lockdown, I was a 55-hour pilot.
Right.
55 hours, of which easily 25 or 30 hours were on that Bali trip.
Oh,
I was doing 3 hour, 2.5 hour, 3 hour flights every day for 10
nice.
days. You know, and so which meant also that I had very little time outside of that limited circle of people, limited circle of circumstances.
Right.
You know,
Right.
This lockdown, there were, everyone was kind of just trying to sort of stay in touch with the air,
Correct.
right? And
We all did that.
and thankfully you included me in that, and being on those chats and those Zoom sort of
Sessions,
seminars
yeah.
really helped me, because one of them was the topic of this discussion is
Right.
essentially how to expand your mindset beyond that of a student in a school.
Right.
I mean, you're always going to be
How
a
to
student.
break that boundary and
Yeah.
how to fly off the nest.
Yeah. I mean, sure. It's.
Right.
I think that was one of the single most important moments of my flying career, because until that time, until that chat,
Right.
I had never considered it. I didn't realize it was necessary. I didn't have an understanding that
That's also a possibility.
that is a possibility. I
Right,
didn't know
right.
that. I've thought you fly with a school and you keep progressing and learning with the school for
Which we do, but
until you graduate.
correct.
so to speak, you get a certificate. There's a convocation.
Correct.
What I didn't realize is that that everything is a school.
Right.
Every pilot
Everything.
is a school.
Ev-
Every
That's a
teacher
very
is a
good
school.
point. That's an amazing point. And all through the career, however a good pilot you are, how many hours you put, you learn everything. You learn something new every day if you keep your eyes open.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
what are you flying right now?
I'm
What wing are you flying?
I'm flying my first wing,
Okay.
which is an Advanced Alpha 6. It's an ENA, very, very stable, very beautiful, very like the love of my life currently.
And what do you call her?
Arancia is her name. Arancia means orange in Italy. I bought the wing in Italy,
Right.
and she's bright orange, so
Right.
her name is Orange. in
All
Italy.
right.
Yeah.
And the harness is also from Advance?
Yes,
Okay.
Advanced Success 4.
Okay.
Again, a harness that saved my ass literally many times, especially over the last 2 weeks. I have landed on that harness more over the last 2 weeks than I have any other time in my life. But yeah, so yeah, great, really great, safe gear.
Yeah. So I've seen you fly in the last few months. We opened the season together.
Yep.
And I've seen you graduate so fast that it's like flying is your just second nature. It's always been there. You're just figuring it out right now. So you're that kind of a pilot. Some pilots are natural, some pilots are operational, by which I mean they need to know what is the procedure, how to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're not that. You're just natural. And
No, I would disagree, because so the thing is, since we start, so in November, on the 1st of November,
Right.
post lockdown, you and I decided we'll go to Shindewadi and
Yeah.
we'll fly,
Right.
Because enough of being on the ground,
Right.
and we didn't fly,
Right.
right? We didn't fly because conditions were not ideal.
Yeah. That was 31st of October and 1st November we flew.
Correct.
Right.
1st November we flew.
Yeah.
That's right. So anyway, so for me the thing is, practical learning is very, very crucial. But I also find that I do need to know what's going on. So what I've been doing is I've also been doing a lot of so before I ever tried thermaling,
Right.
I must have watched easily 10-12 hours of thermaling videos
Right.
on YouTube.
Right.
I mean, I'm watching flying videos for fun constantly,
Correct.
which is really annoying for everyone in my everyone who doesn't fly in my life. But
Okay.
yeah. So, but having the theory in your
Right.
head,
Right.
and then learning that applying that theory is different from what you see.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So what I mean by saying they're a natural pilot is once you're in the air, I know that you read a lot, you talk to a lot of people, you don't take what a person says verbatim or what that one person says, but you find out other people's views, you try to understand the whole thing. That's who you are. But when I see you in the air, you're not the person who is doing things mechanically. You're fluid. That's what I mean by a natural pilot, and that's very important for.
Because I'm also learning on the job.
That's the point. So that's
It's
a beautiful thing to have.
Yeah, for sure.
So my question to you is, what is the difference? Now, the reason I'm going to ask you these questions, let me clarify for our listeners, is it's important for a pilot who is just graduated from school, who's been with the school. We're not encouraging that you have to leave the school and immediately go fly out.
No,
That's not
fact,
the point.
I don't think I'll ever be anyone. I think I'll always be a Temple Pilots pilot.
Exactly. I am still a Temple Pilots pilot. I am still. That's my home ground. I still go back there. We love those people. But the point is that at one point of time, you need to learn things on your own or from your colleagues. Now, what was the main difference between what you've been reading about thermaling and when you actually got to do it? What do you now that you thermal so well? You're one of the guys I've seen in Panchgani who got a thermal right from the ground when you went for landing, and you went right up till the cloud base, and that was amazing. That was just last 2-3 weeks ago. So now that you have that understanding, what is the difference according to you?
First of all, the understanding that there is no, even though in the books that you or in school you're taught that thermals behave in a certain way, the realization that thermals act differently in different conditions, in different places, in different air
mass.
Air masses, exactly.
Yeah.
And that they're alive as us. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? So to kind of to track a thermal or to kind of to feel your way around another. I mean, I don't want to seem like I know what I'm talking about because I'm still really just guessing. But the truth of the matter is, it's different every time, and for me that's magical. You know what I'm saying? Because it's no matter how great a pilot you are,
Right.
I don't believe that anyone can have 100% success rate.
Correct.
So therefore, if you're allowed to fail,
Right.
it takes a lot of the pressure out, and you can kind of learn with a great degree of respect for each individual thermal or individual day or individual set of conditions.
Right.
You
So
know?
every day is a different learning experience in thermaling.
Totally.
And the basis of all thermals is the same, but how you handle them and read them on that particular day is what makes you a successful pilot. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't say I'm a successful pilot, but I would certainly agree with that. Yeah.
No, you're just being modest now. You're a good pilot.
And for me, I think keep going back to the topic of being. So, for example, I haven't done a thermaling class yet.
Okay.
It should have been the natural progression.
Right.
But I happen to have seen and read all the stuff about thermaling that was available to me.
Right.
And I happen to have. I still remember. I mean, it was the 21st of December, if you must know, the first time I caught a thermal.
Right.
And it was at Tower East.
Right.
And the same thermal I actually caught today. Actually, the same position.
Yeah.
And I went up to whatever height.
Yeah. High enough.
High enough.
Right.
And it was just like everything started to explain itself to me, and then to land from there and to have that feeling of not having been guided through it.
Right.
That was very precious.
Right.
Because, I mean, guidance is welcome and wonderful, and it really helps you to learn. But at the end of the day, as a pilot, you need to know that you did that.
Correct.
You were able to find it, and you might, then when you find it the second time, you say, okay, no, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? On my own, without anyone instructing me, which is, for me, that is a huge step forward. Not just, how does one put it? Like, instructions
Freedom.
are very valuable, but while you're being instructed, you're always on a cord, so to speak,
Right,
or on
right.
you're always connected to
Right.
the ground.
Right.
To truly fly, you have to not be connected in that way.
Right.
And then once you do that and you sort of start to gain confidence on that front, like today, for example,
Right.
today when we flew,
Right.
I was making decisions of my own
Right.
volition in terms of thermaling, in terms of transition, in terms of moving to a second ridge, in terms of deciding even to land.
Right.
Because, conditions were not
Not
I didn't
convenient,
feel like
yeah.
they were ideal, so I was
Right.
like, chalo, let's land. You know what I'm saying? But knowing that and being able to do it yourself
Right.
sets you free rather than being told to do it. Okay, doesn't look like it's working today. Someone on the radio is saying, okay,
Right.
doesn't look like it's working today, come on down. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. So the decisions not only that you have made by yourself, but those decisions work, and then you are able to travel and complete a flight from takeoff to thermaling to transitioning to traveling to making an approach and landing. Everything works out.
No, but
And that gives
not,
you-
It's whether the decisions work or not. If you succeed, it's yours. If you fail, it's yours.
True.
You know that.
True.
And what if you fail, you learn from it.
Correct.
You know,
that's
and
a
if you
good
succeed,
point.
you learn from it as well. But the thing is, nobody told you what to do.
Exactly.
You did it yourself. You decided to do it yourself, and it worked for you or didn't work for you, whatever it is. But you're taking that knowledge home. You earned it.
Correct.
You know, for me, that's the real reason anyone would want to step away or out of the umbrella of a school. You know, is so that they can form their own opinion of themselves as a pilot.
Perfect. While also flying with other
Experienced
pilots,
people,
so that you are not
Oh, for sure, for sure.
you're doing things, it's always good to fly with
I would- dude,
with
for
buddies
me-
around.
that has been another huge learning. How everyone backs each other up when you're flying in a group.
Right.
You know, that has taught me so much about not just, I mean, yes, flying is an individual activity. When you're in the air, you're alone in the air, but also you're being constantly watched and supported by everyone around you, and you're doing the same for everyone around you as well.
And as a community, that is really strong feeling.
Yeah, it's
So-
incredible.
So now that you have discussed about your decisions and how they work, and certain decisions don't work, but still you learn from them, what would you say would be a difference in thermaling for you between Kamshit and Panchgani? Would there be some difference? What did you feel?
Well, I mean, I've only been to Panchgani once, so I'm not
Correct.
very familiar with the terrain. But
But you're
cert-
feeling in the air, the thermals, and versus the thermals here.
Kamshet, the thermals seem a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Active.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
in the sense of they are more unpredictable.
Right.
They're more
Slanty.
slanty, more bumpy.
Right.
They have like lots of pops in them,
Right.
whereas the thermals that I encountered in Panchgani, and
Right.
I think I really lucked out in a couple of the flights where it was when you read that, okay, when you track your thermal path, it looks like a telephone cord.
Right.
That it actually happened in Panchgani.
That's a
I
beautiful
actually
thing
saw
to,
that. It was
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. So when you bomb out
Uh-huh.
on the days that you bomb out, there is definitely a sense of
Loss.
disappointment, loss, and if that's your last flight of the day and you bomb out, you feel disappointed. But as a pilot, there is also the yearning to do better next time,
Yeah,
to
for
understand
sure.
what happened.
For sure.
And that's what I've seen from you, that if you bomb out or if you have not understood that day's thermals,
Right.
there is a sense of learning. There's not a sense of giving up, like, oh, this is not for me, what is this nonsense, I don't like this. But you want to know why that happened, how can I change it the next time, and you want to fly as soon as possible to sort that out.
So there's
That
two things.
attitude is something that is something that's really important for a pilot. What do you feel about that?
So there's, first of all, a lot of it comes from the fact that I'm flying with people who take great joy in flying. It's not it's not about how high you went or how far you traveled.
It's not competition.
It's not a competition.
Right.
We're flying out of love for the air, literally.
Correct.
and it always reminds me of the feeling I had when I did my first solo flight.
Right.
From 150 feet, the flight was 2 minutes long, or whatever it was, and literally when I landed, I felt like I was a different person. And that is a bomb out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there was a point where the flights that count as bombing out were your best flights ever.
Yeah.
They were the greatest moments in your life up until then. So there are times, in Panchkani, for example, on the first flight that I did in Panchkani, I bombed out. I had no idea what I was doing. I bombed out. I landed. When I landed, I packed and I went and sat under a tree. Some local farmer came and scolded me, and all of that, the usual stuff happened.
Right.
I went and sat under a tree and I looked around and I just inhaled the air, and I was in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere. It was glorious. I felt elevated and thrilled even, and grateful for that.
That's an amazing attitude to have. But it is true that when you land in places, even though you've bombed out, it's just that you're in a sport that gives you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just that we need to appreciate it. So, what is next on your agenda? What do you think about your thermaling skills at the moment? There's a follow-up question on this. We'll get to that after your answer.
Honestly, so today, for example, I felt like I was more I was more aware of what I was doing, and I was more in control of where I was going vis-a-vis the thermal, in terms of trying to find and track the core. So that is something that I've been,
So just to put this into perspective, there were 3 C's flying together along with you and A,
Yeah.
and you're the only one who went higher and further than any one of us. That is just insane. So you are a good pilot,
or a very lucky pilot, whichever it is.
Now, so my follow-up question, Vishal, is what would you recommend to students who are, let's say, are club pilots, who have done their course, who have bought their own wings, they are flying, but thermaling and flying is a different understanding altogether from coming from school, right?
For sure.
They can still stay in school and get the guidance, but what is that individual thinking and attitude that you need to develop, or what would be your suggestion to these pilots who are upcoming?
So thermaling is a different thing altogether. It's a different
art.
level of flying altogether. I'm saying the attitude needs to start from even your kiting.
Right.
Right. So for me, for example, I spent, even though I'm a Temple Pilots student, I spent one day with TJ.
Right.
At his kiting site.
Right.
And it changed my perspective. It really did. It added a lot to how I see my wing, and how I interact with my wing, and the control I have over the energy of the wing. And I learned a lot from one day with him.
Right. That's amazing.
And then of course I've learned so much from watching you, and watching Rohit, and watching Karthik, and everybody who I've been flying with. It's been there's sources of knowledge everywhere.
So what we see, Vishal, is lots of students don't talk to other pilots at the
True,
takeoff.
We do see that a lot.
Why is that? I don't understand. Everyone should share each other's knowledge and help each other. And you just said some time back that it's a community that looks out for each other, and you do the same for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. So my view is that people should just come to the takeoff, talk to people, talk to senior pilots, talk to instructors, doesn't matter who they are, and also get an understanding of the weather, get an understanding of takeoff conditions that day. Are they, for example, if a pilot, even say a tandem pilot, is getting ready to take off, why is he getting ready to take off? Should I get ready? Those questions never come.
Right.
because we used to ask those questions and we used to wonder, why is he getting ready? Why? What happened now? So,
I think for whatever it's worth, a lot of it comes from various barriers that are there. We were
Correct.
discussing earlier. There are groups of pilots who may not be as conversant with just English as we are, and so therefore they feel a little alienated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or they may feel a little awkward to ask.
Right.
But I think the most important thing again is the fact that there are many schools.
Right.
And
exactly.
And people come from many different schools, and then they are taught to behave almost clannishly. That the people from
true.
one school hang out with the people from that school, and that crossover is not there. It takes a little while before everyone's a pilot.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
While they're all students, and
And the other thing that I see which really irritates me is when people come close to you while you're thermaling. I just can't stand that. And I speak to them and I tell them, why are you coming and parking yourself behind me when you know that I'm thermaling?
Yeah, it's just.
And they have no idea. Although they've been flying and they probably have been doing that for quite some time.
They've been at all the same sites and in all the same thermals as us.
Exactly.
It's true.
And for example, when I fly my freestyle and I look down to make sure that nobody's around, and there'll be this one or two gliders who will shadow me and they'll be below me and like move. So I move, they move.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but when you talk to them, you're right, because when you talk to them, they feel as if, we are reprimanding them. We are not. We're just explaining.
I mean, you don't want an incident. Nobody.
Exactly.
It's not good for anyone.
Exactly.
If you're in somebody else's way. So I guess.
Exactly.
I mean, it's there, at some point in time, one has to realize that there are, even on the roads, there are good drivers and bad drivers.
Correct.
And sometimes, I mean, like I was in when we were thermaling in Panchgani.
Right.
I thought I was doing my thing, but it ended up that I was in the way of one of the pilots who was I was not aware of it.
Well, that's okay, because sometimes you're not aware. That happens with all of us.
Yeah, but
and we move out. But if you intentionally stay there on and again, that's a little bit of an irritation.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So,
but then there's also people who don't follow, for example, even the most basic things, ridge rules.
Correct.
Which you really do need to sort of.
Yeah, true. Landing and takeoff skills.
Yeah.
Just last few questions before we
wish
end
I
this.
had them.
No. My
takeoffs
question.
are fine.
My question is, landing and takeoff skills
Yeah.
are important, but they are not the only things that are important, because when you get off the school, the first thing that you learn is, are you taking off right and are you landing right? But what's important is also, students don't realize that you need to learn a lot about the air when you're flying. It's not just a top to bottom.
Yeah.
And that you have seen in the last few months. Won't you agree that students should pay a lot more attention to the texture of the air, the feel of the air for that day, and what your glider is actually telling you?
Absolutely.
As a lesson.
It's most crucial to kind of to know how to respond to what the air is doing at any height. Something that I'm still very, 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 very basic and new at. But it's something that, for example, today was a great experience for me because my glider was pitching all over the place, and I had to control it
Actively.
Actively, and I was actually having a really good time doing it. It was a lot of work,
Right.
but I was really enjoying it because it was telling me that that I'm aware and I'm working for what I'm getting. It's not a gift.
Exactly.
So
even if if a student is not thermaling or is learning to thermal,
Yeah.
even if it's a top to bottom flight, it's still a learning.
Absolutely.
Every single day they fly will be a learning. So I think people should consider that as, fly as much as you can and learn as much as you can, because that's going to help you.
True, absolutely true. And in the last, November, December, January, February, and now we're just about to hit March. So 4 months. In the last 4 months, I've done more flying than I've done in the last 4 years. And that when you were saying that, okay, there's been great progression.
Right.
It's been because of that. It's been because
Right.
of the hours spent. It's been
right.
because of the time spent. Even the time spent at Rangoli.
Correct.
Just talking to you guys and it's like it's not a debrief in
Right,
that sense,
right.
but just अच्छा उधर क्या हो रहा था, इधर क्या हो रहा था, मेरे साथ ये हो रहा था, मेरे साथ ये हो रहा था, all that stuff. I
So it's
mean,
really important to your education is not only your school, but your education is how you hang out, who you hang out with, the other pilots. You talk to them, learn from them. So that's the point of this podcast today. Is learning is everywhere for students.
You need to just absorb.
Just
It's what you
absorb.
said earlier. This
Talk to
information
people.
is everywhere. Talk to people, ask questions, and just keep your mind open. No matter what barriers have been created, whether it's language, whether it's school, whatever it is, just keep your mind open. Ask everyone for everything, and assimilate.
Perfect.
That's what I've been learning. It's changed my life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vishal, for being on the show, and we'll see you in the sky soon.
Yes, sir. Next
Okay.
weekend.
Okay, bye.
All right, man.